Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce. This is a Ukraine war news update, the third part thereof for the 1st of July 2024. Because I hadn't done a Geopolitics update yesterday, I didn't do one yesterday, today's one was a double one and therefore it took up a bit of time, especially since there was a lot of analysis on the French elections that took place yesterday, the first round of those. And as a result, I ran out of time. I needed to finish it off. So here I am. And we are going to really only be concerned with US politics with regard to Ukraine. We're going to start with Kanye West being in Moscow. There was talk about him possibly doing a gig there, but I think it's to attend the birthday party of a designer. Russian producer Yana Rudkovskaya reported that American rapper Kanye West has arrived in Moscow and is staying in the very heart of the capital. Kanye West, a rapper who recently made controversial remarks expressing admiration for Hitler, plans to perform at a Moscow stadium, it says, although I'm not sure that is actually true. But yeah, he's been over there and that has caused quite a bit of consternation, a bit of talk, because he exists in those kind of same MAGA ecosystems that so many other people do that appear to be more likely to support Russia than, say, Ukraine. And then lo and behold, Kanye West ends up in Moscow. It just seems to be like a checklist you have for, like, whether you're a member of Rassemblement National or, I don't know, AFD, or you're like a super MAGA Republican. And it's like, tick, 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 tick. Yeah, there you go. Jakub Yanovsky here, a good reminder that except for political pundits and activists, nobody cares about those debates. Otherwise, they would have crashed Trump's numbers in 2016, 2020, and 2024 for all those stupid lies and gibberish statements. This is the idea, and I don't know. I think other polls will come out, but I don't know. There is a call that actually it is going to all blow over the very poor debate that Biden had, and it's really good that people are concentrating also on what Trump said in that debate, which is absolute, I mean, empirically nonsensical or lies. Just, yeah. And so, yeah, this guy looks really old, but this guy's lying and has a really dodgy agenda. Like I've said before, I would vote for a comatose. If I was an American citizen, I would vote for a comatose Biden over, or a dead Biden over Trump every day of the week. Like, it's all about the politics of these people and what they're bringing to the table, and the team around Biden. Although I would disagree with the approach of someone like Jake Sullivan, but I just think the team around Biden is so much, God, they're the adults, and the team around Trump is just really freaking disturbing. A really disturbing team. But anyway, a national Morning Consult post-debate poll has Biden up 1 and Trump at 44. So Biden 45%, Trump 44. Is that reflective of the real state of affairs? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But it is interesting. I think that Biden should step aside, but he's just gone to Camp David, I believe, with his family, and his family have rallied round him, and I think he's been convinced to stay in the race. I think that's unwise. I can see arguments both ways here, right? So I do understand that as an incumbent, if you look at Alan Lichtman's keys to the White House, he still has the majority of the keys, and he's odds on to win the election on the basis of empirical data that Alan Lichtman would espouse. But so therefore it is, so some people will see it a risk to get to a position where you have to replace him, and you're never quite sure whether the person you're going to replace him with is going to beat Trump, is a better candidate, when you've got the track record of Biden having beaten Trump before. But then Biden is now 4 years older, Trump is as well, but it's showing a little bit more with Biden perhaps, and this is it was a very tight race in 2020, and if it's going to be even tighter or just as tight this time round, then Biden needs to be at the top of his game. And arguably he is not. Now, there are all these different arguments as to whether a new candidate, if you brought a new candidate along, then suddenly you're going to have all the skeletons in their closets they might not know about, or we might not know about. So, I don't know, take, for example, if you wanted to go down a kind of slick corporate Democrat way, you go Gavin Newsom, right? And you say, right, he's a really good debater. He's young, he's tech savvy, media savvy even. He's really knows his stuff, can quick recall. The problem with the Biden debate is when you see him now giving these talks where he's comfortable and he's just being himself, he can be much stronger. But he had been hammered with so many facts and figures. There's a really interesting, what was a newspaper article I was reading on this? I can't remember which one. But it was kind of on point, which is like, if you're an 81-year-old and you are like, right, you got to have this fact. If you say something like that, then you got to say this, this, and this. And if Trump says this thing, then you got to say that, and that. And if Trump says this, and they're trying to drum that in for like 5 days in a row, and he's like, okay. And then you go out there and you're like, oh my God, right, so I've got to remember all these facts. And Trump doesn't give a damn about facts. He's like, blah. And Biden's like, oh. And then that's the debate. That's basically the summary of the debate. And Biden's brain is not in a position to be able to do that. Now, does that mean he can't run a country? Not really. But it is an explanation of why he performed so poorly. But I still think, on balance, they should risk it and go for someone younger who can blow Trump's lies out the water, because it is not good enough to continue lying. I mean, if you see what Trump has released on Truth Social recently, there's just lie after lie. What did he say? Look, Judge Merchan has just sentenced, because Judge Merchan was a guy that sentenced Trump, right? Or is found Trump guilty, right? He's just sentenced Steve Bannon. No, he didn't. It wasn't him at all. That is just an outright empirical lie. It was a completely different judge. But you're trying to associate how you're being treated with Bannon. If you did it on purpose, that's utterly disingenuous, and you need to be called out for that. You are lying in public. And if you made a mistake, how can you be that absent-minded? And anyway, he just lies, and we need to remember that when we are comparing these two people. Anyway, I meant to talk about this like 2 days ago, but this has been doing rounds since the weekend, right? Or over the weekend. Saturday update, Trump's plane is still at IA-8, so at Dulles Airport, right? Next to the Russian governmental plane, which appears to be readying to leave soon. A United Arab Emirates Air Force C-17 is also parked nearby today. So Trump's plane was right next to the Russian plane for quite a long time, and this was seen as highly controversial. Now, I don't know whether there's anything in this, but when you've got the UAE, Russia and Trump right next to each other, diplomats and all sorts, this just strikes me as incredibly dubious optics for a start, and it's maybe a bit conspiracy theory thinking, but there are a lot of people who are really concerned with this. It has been brought up quite a bit. Now, Trump said he could resolve the war between Ukraine and Russia after his election victory, and would do so before even he entered the White House. And he talks about a smart president, as in a smart man can sort out these problems. He doesn't give any detail as to how that's going to take place. There's no, and this is a thing, like when it's down to like Democrats at the podium, like Biden was actually if you go back and listen to the stuff Biden was saying, it was like, this is substance, this is how we're going to do this, and this is what we did before. And when you listen to Trump, there's no substance at all. It's just a wing and a prayer, and like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I'm a smart man, yay, check me out, and immigrants. And he was very clever, because Trump, he succeeded in getting everything to come back to immigration. It's like immigration. I'm the only guy that can solve this. I'm strong, no substance, but check me out. Look how confident I am, and I'm cool, and you need me, and I can outswing him on a golf course. Job done. Okay, fair enough. So Philip O'Brien said, it's fascinating that Trump is far more complimentary of Russia, China, and North Korea, and than he is of all of US allies in NATO or Ukraine and Taiwan. that want to be close to the US. So you've got these people that you should be cozying up to that want to be in your sphere of influence, and Trump is slagging them off. While at the rallies, also, he's calling Zelensky basically corrupt and saying, "Oh, he just comes to my country and nicks our money," and at the same time giving praise for Xi Jinping, Putin, Orban, and all these the wrong ones in the world. It's just insane. Donald Trump says that China, Russia, and North Korea aren't really enemies. If he's the president, if you have a smart president, they're not enemies. You'll make them do great. Just like, what is that? If you get a smart man as president, I'll tell you what, we'll have houses on the moon within 2 years. And all of you can eat all the cheese you want. All the cheese. You'll have cheese coming out your ears. And by the way, you over there, I know you're only 4'6", but if you get a smart man as president, you'll be 6'4". And I honestly, it will happen because I'm a smart man and I can get that done. Biden couldn't make you 6'4". I can make you 6'4". There you go. Yeah, check me out. Awesome. Anyway, don't check any of these claims. Please do not fact check these claims. But I will make you guys the richest human beings on earth. And I'll do that even before I'm president, as long as you vote for me. If you vote for me in November, probably by the end of December, you'll all be the richest people on earth in history. Check me out. I'm cool. That's how to campaign, apparently. And just, I don't want this to just be an anti-Trump diatribe, but it's looking like it, isn't it? It's just, this sums it up for me. I mean, this is freaking egregious. Johnny McEntee, Trump's director of the Office of Personnel Management and a senior advisor to the Project 2025, brags that he likes to hand out fake money to homeless people so they will get arrested when they use it. Despicable. This is despicable.
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car, so when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself, they feel good. And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, getting them off the street.
I don't know what sort of person you'd have to be. I mean, is that just a joke? If that's just a joke, then hey, I'm going to make a joke. It's punching down. I'm making a joke at a homeless person. Well done you. Okay. Ha ha ha. Brilliant. Makes you a bit of a dick. Okay, if it's actually what you do, then you're just nasty. You're just a nasty person. I don't know. So the positions can be boiled down to these 4 points, says Phillips O'Brien, concerning Ukraine war and if Trump was to be president. So the debate was actually very clear about Trump and his positions on Russia and Ukraine. Now, it can be summarized as follows. 1, Putin is not to be criticized but respected. 2, Zelensky is a con man taking US money. 3, what happens in Europe is not really in the US interest. And 4, the US should stop aiding Ukraine as soon as possible. And I don't understand how you can think otherwise from that, from what he's been saying for a long time. But the situation is this. The US has credible intel indicating the possibility of an attack against US military bases in Europe in the coming weeks. A US defense official has told Fox News. So Lucas Tomlinson from Fox News, all US military bases in Europe have been put on heightened alert status due to a potential terrorist attack. Quote, there is a credible intel pointing to an attack against US bases in Europe over the next week or so. And yeah, I'd already reported recently when some people from, where was it? Were they Chechens? Were caught hanging around a base, and one of them was shot at, possibly even shot by someone living near the base who was in the forces themselves. Germany has recently arrested Russians who were scouting US military bases for sabotage attacks, which is something to add to that. So this is worrying time. These are worrying times. But on the other hand, some within the GOP, like I said the other day, and I made reference to this article, are no longer ignoring polling data showing most Americans support Ukraine. Nice to see. And yeah, it was just really nice to get a sense that actually not everyone is in the GOP is aligned to this kind of thinking. In fact, most people probably aren't, and most lawmakers aren't. But it's an issue when the most the loudest and the most egregious of these opinion makers are those who are surrounding Trump, and that includes his own family members as well, and Trump himself. And that's the problem. Because if the direction of travel is dictated by those people, then unfortunately, many of these people will toe the party line if their jobs are threatened. And it's Yanis Kluger here says, funny how Russia actually re-imports its own propaganda. So here's the Russian media site, is that the Kommersant or whatever. Robert Kennedy Jr. Russia's economy has become stronger due to US sanctions. Independent US presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. said that the US sanctions have only strengthened Russia's economy. I mean, obviously strengthened it, and they want them to stay, which is why they demanded that sanctions stop as part of their ceasefire demands recently. So, of course, this doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the sanctions have only strengthened Russia's economy rather than hurting it. According to the politician, the popularity of its president, Vladimir Putin, has also grown in Russia. Yeah, so well done, Kennedy. Just spouting Russian propaganda talking points there. It's a real shocker. Yeah, that's Robert Kennedy Jr. for you. I would not vote for him. That's for sure. Anyway, that's my little US geopolitics segment. Hopefully that was of some interest to you. Let me know what you think, particularly about what the Democrats do, and whether you've changed your opinion since the debate, or whether, stay the course with Biden, change to someone else, take that risk. It's all going to come down to those swing voters in all of those 7 states that are so important, and what would be the best option to attract those voters. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, guys, and speak to you soon.